Alright, what is going on, guys? Back with another breakdown. This time it's going to be for UFC 263. First of a bunch of breakdowns I got for this week. I basically just took the last couple weeks off to really prepare for this one and the next couple weeks. So, plan on getting at least 5 or 6 up for this card and then immediately start, like during the week, getting them up for next week. But yeah, it's basically been a pilot project until now, but should be a lot more active. I always do them on the website, but the video element was kind of, I just needed more time for it, and now I got it. But anyway, so the first one is, this is on the prelims. We got Jake Collier versus Carlos Felipe. This is going to be at heavyweight. Felipe coming off a nice win against Justin Tafa. That might have been fight of the night. It was a good fight, but let me see if that got fight of the night. I think it may have. No, it didn't. But yeah, it could have easily gotten it. It was a good fight, and yeah, he's on a nice little run. And then Jake Collier also coming off a nice W, really good bounce back win against Tom Aspinall. So, in terms of reach advantage, Collier's gonna have about 3-inch reach advantage. Don't know how much it's gonna matter though. We'll get into that in a second. So, start with Jake Collier. He's a little bit of a unique case. So, initially made his UFC debut in 2014, and he made it at middleweight, and had mixed results at middleweight. I think he went 2-2. And then he had 2 fights at light heavyweight, went 1-1, decisions both ways. And then he didn't fight for 3 years, and he comes back at heavyweight, and he goes out and he fights Tom Aspinall, and it did not go well. He did not look very composed just from walkout. I picked Aspinall knockout in that fight. Even though Collier was a little bit of unknown, I kind of want to see how he would look with weigh-ins. But, Aspinall, I think, is a future contender, very well-rounded. And, getting knocked out by him, not the worst thing in the world. But it did not look good. And, coming back after 3 years, you just don't know what you're getting with Jake Collier at heavyweight anyway. So, wasn't looking good. But then he has a great bounce-back win against John Vellante. And he had a very high work rate in that fight, at least in the first round. Worked in a lot of kicks. Like, you can tell he used to fight at a smaller weight class because he was fighting that way at heavyweight. So you don't often see the type of movement that he was generating, and he had a lot of great body kicks, at least in the first round. And then he kept it up throughout the fight. He was landing, but he definitely did slow down in the second. You could tell he really stopped with the kicks and just kind of looked to box, just in and out. But yeah, it was very good performance overall for Collier because, could have been fighting for his job if he got starched again. It wouldn't have been good, probably would have been cut. So he definitely earned himself at least, I would say, a couple more fights after that one. I don't know what his contract situation is, but he looked pretty good and it was encouraging. But then for Carlos Felipe, he has had a nice little UFC career to start. So I think he's had, 3 fights? Yeah, 3 fights. And the first one lost to Sergey Spivak, not a bad loss at all. And he did pretty good in that fight. It was pretty close going to the third round. Then Spivak's wrestling really took over. But then he comes back and he gets a really, I don't want to say really good because that fight was a little boring. But it was a fun first round against Jurgen De Castro. And then Felipe kind of just took over, and De Castro was just trying to clinch with them. They were getting separated the entire time. It was a co-main event. But yeah, it was a solid win for Felipe. De Castro has really fallen off, but at the time, people were still really high on him. And then he goes and he fights Justin Tafa. I actually had Justin Tafa as a slight underdog in that fight. I liked him a lot in that. And it was a great fight. Like I said, could have been fight of the night. But Felipe was able to just take over in the second and third rounds after losing the first round. He ate a lot of leg kicks and body kicks in the first round and showed he was very durable with handling them. So it's relevant for this fight because Collier, the kicks, I think, really kind of put a stamp on that fight for him last time. And definitively winning that first round really set the tone. So, he ate a lot of heavy leg kicks from Tafa and just kept coming forward. So that's encouraging. But then what's really encouraging, especially if you're looking for this fight, Felipe, like I said, very high work rate, and he's got very good hand speed. very good combination speed. And a lot of times it's like Collier, where both these guys are high paced. I think this is going to be a high paced heavyweight fight, but both these guys can just bring that combination speed that you don't see at heavyweight too often. So could be interesting. But I do think that Felipe has the faster hands, has some of the faster hands in the division, and he only needs to string together a couple combos where it really can sway the fight stats, at least at heavyweight it seems. But yeah, so for this one, guys, I definitely have to go with Felipe. I feel like I kind of gave it away what I was talking about, but I just see a clear path here. Um, he lost the first round against Tafa. Collier had a great first round against Volante, and then just a couple okay rounds. And you're going against a guy, Volante. He wasn't pushing the pace at all. He was just looking to counter, and Felipe will push that pace. And if he's not, in the last fight, he made the adjustment to start doing it. But we've just seen in the last couple fights that Felipe has good cardio for the division, and he can win a fight. Like I think if he won that Justin Tafa fight, I think whatever Collier is bringing in the first round isn't going to be as much as Tafa was, because Tafa, he just lost his last fight again, but he's got a lot of tools. He's gotten a lot more technical. You can just never see him to put it together, at least right now. I hope he sticks around because, like I said, he's got a lot of tools. But, yeah, I think that's a good win for Felipe, despite the record. And for Tafa, that is. But, yeah, guys, I just see the clear path where Collier's got the less than stellar cardio. He's coming up to heavyweight. Used to be a middleweight. And we saw him I don't want to say gas, but slow down against Volante, and I just think that the combination of those two things, it's really tough to not pick Felipe here. I would say Felipe by decision. The props really aren't out yet for that, for betting. But the line, you got Felipe at minus 188. That's a good parlay piece. Like, I like that for a parlay for sure. Definitely going to bet it with that. I'll probably have my bets up on Friday, and that'll be on the website. You can always go there, and that's where I post my bets. But yeah, if Felipe were somehow able to get down to like the minus 160 range, I could straight bet it. I just I'm one where I will bet lines like this if I really like it, and I want to really bet this one. Like, I might decide to, but I don't know. If Collier is able to make some adjustments and kind of be able to stretch out that pace for 3 rounds, I see him having more of a chance. But I really do like Felipe in this one, guys. I see the fight playing out to his advantage. So, maybe a straight bet. Not the worst in the world. I don't even know that they had method props. These must have just dropped. But let's see what we got. Yeah, so Felipe by points plus 150, it's obviously what they're really expecting. So, maybe go with that. At this price, though, the knockout prop is not bad, plus 300. I know that Felipe is not really a knockout guy, but it's just everybody gets knockouts. You get a certain amount of fights in the UFC. Anything can happen. Collier has shown that he can get knocked out at heavyweight. I know it's Tom Aspinall, so has to be taken with a grain of salt, but it has happened. And then I was thinking also, guys, I really don't see the method props here, because if you were gonna get fancy with it, this is what I would do. I probably will do this just for like $5 because at that price. But since you got a guy who, I'm thinking the cardio is gonna fade, and Felipe gets better as the fight goes on. If he's gonna get the knockout, I think it'll be in round 2 or 3. I'm probably gonna go with 2, but yeah, I do like that. So from a betting perspective, I like this fight. I'm pretty comfortable in picking Carlos Felipe. I like that. It's one of the fights that jumps off the card for me in terms of like how I think I have it read. But obviously, guys, nothing's definitive. But yeah, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more. Appreciate it. Take it easy.